Every holiday season, millions of people around the world sing Jingle Bells, a cheerful song that brings to mind snowy landscapes, sleigh rides, and festive joy. But beneath the familiar tune and jolly lyrics lies a history that is far from merry. What if I told you that this beloved Christmas classic has a past tied to one of the darkest traditions in American entertainment? The truth is, Jingle Bells has roots that most people never consider. While it's celebrated as an innocent anthem of winter, its origins are deeply entwined with the blackface minstrel shows of the 19th century, a genre that perpetuated harmful racial stereotypes and thrived on the exploitation of African American culture. It's a story that has been largely erased, replaced with a sanitized version of history that paints the song as a simple holiday tune. But the reality is much more complex and uncomfortable. How did a song born on the minstrel stage become a cornerstone of Christmas celebrations? Why do we blindly sing its verses without questioning where they came from? Today, we'll unravel the true history of Jingle Bells, exploring its creation, its connection to blackface minstrelsy, and how its origins were forgotten. Along the way, we'll challenge the traditions we take for granted and confront the uncomfortable truths hidden in our cultural history. This isn't just the story of a song. It's a reflection of how we as a society choose to remember or forget the past. When you hear the opening notes of Jingle Bells, it's impossible not to picture the holiday season. For most of us, the song evokes memories of snowy landscapes, sleigh rides, and the warmth of festive gatherings. Over time, it has become one of the most enduring symbols of Christmas cheer, playing on repeat in malls, schools, and homes worldwide. Yet when it was first written in 1857, Jingle Bells had no explicit connection to Christmas. Its original title, The One-Horse Open Sleigh, and its lyrics focused on a winter sleigh ride, not a holiday celebration. It was a song meant to capture the fun and excitement of racing through the snow, a theme that resonated with listeners even before it was tied to Christmas. The composer, James Lord Pierpont, likely didn't anticipate the legacy his song would create. Published in a time when sheet music sales were the primary way to disseminate popular songs, Jingle Bells quickly became a favorite for its catchy melody and lively spirit. Its simplicity made it accessible for amateur singers and musicians alike, ensuring its spread across the United States. By the early 20th century, the song had fully transitioned into a holiday staple. Radio broadcasts and early recordings cemented its association with Christmas, even though its lyrics never mention the holiday. The imagery of bells, snow, and sleighs fit perfectly into the cultural fabric of winter celebrations. It became so ingrained in the holiday season that its origins were overshadowed by its modern meaning. To most, Jingle Bells is a song of innocence, joy, and nostalgia. It's hard to imagine that a tune so closely tied to the magic of Christmas could have a darker history. But the story of Jingle Bells isn't just about a cheerful melody. It's about the cultural forces that shaped its creation. While today it's sung by carolers and children's choirs, its journey began in a far less festive setting, the blackface minstrel stage. To understand the origins of Jingle Bells, we need to step back into the world of mid-19th century America. It was a time when entertainment was dominated by minstrel shows, a form of performance that relied on blackface caricatures of African Americans. These shows were wildly popular among white audiences and often featured exaggerated stereotypes, dialect humor, and songs that became cultural staples. It's within this context that Jingle Bells made its debut. On September 15, 1857, Jingle Bells, originally titled The One-Horse Open Sleigh, was performed for the first time at Ordway Hall in Boston. The performer was Johnny Pell, a minstrel entertainer who delivered the song in blackface. The hall itself was known as a hub for minstrel performances, hosting troupes like Ordway's Aeolians, to whom the song's composer, James Lord Pierpont, dedicated the piece. This debut performance firmly situates Jingle Bells within the minstrel tradition. Its playful, humorous tone and themes of youthful misadventure made it a perfect fit for minstrel audiences. But what exactly was minstrel music, and why did it resonate so deeply with audiences of the time? Minstrel shows, which emerged in the early 19th century, were America's first major form of popular entertainment. They featured white performers in blackface, mimicking and mocking African American culture. These performances were built on racial stereotypes, portraying African Americans as lazy, foolish, or overly jovial. Minstrel music often blended elements of African American musical traditions with exaggerated and comedic lyrics designed to entertain white audiences. James Lord Pierpont, the composer of Jingle Bells, was no stranger to this genre. Between 1852 and 1857, Pierpont wrote at least 13 songs for minstrel troupes in Boston and New York. His compositions followed the conventions of the time, using humor, vernacular language, and themes of mischief to appeal to minstrel audiences. Jingle Bells fits neatly into this mold. Its lyrics tell a light-hearted story of a sleigh ride gone wrong, complete with flirting, falling, and general hijinks. Lines like "We got upsot," a playful take on upset, reflect the kind of exaggerated vernacular that was common in minstrel music. This humorous and accessible tone made it a hit with minstrel audiences. But Jingle Bells wasn't just another minstrel song. It was also a reflection of its creator's circumstances. James Lord Pierpont wasn't composing for artistic recognition or cultural preservation. He was composing for survival. The 1850s were a difficult time for Pierpont, who faced financial instability throughout his life. At various points, he worked as a music teacher, a church organist, and even attempted to run a business. However, he struggled to find consistent success in any of these ventures. Minstrel shows, on the other hand, were a booming industry. These performances were immensely popular across the United States, providing steady work for composers and performers alike. For Pierpont, writing songs for blackface minstrel troupes wasn't a passion project. It was a pragmatic choice. Between 1852 and 1857, he wrote numerous pieces tailored to minstrel performances, following the commercial formulas that guaranteed success. Jingle Bells was no exception. Its structure, themes, and lyrics all align with the minstrel genre. The song's narrative of a sleigh ride gone awry mirrors the kind of light-hearted, mischievous storytelling that was a hallmark of minstrel music. Its playful use of language, like the word upsot, was not only humorous, but also reflective of the exaggerated vernacular often employed in minstrel songs to entertain audiences. But the story of Jingle Bells isn't just about one man's attempt to make a living. It's also a story about the cultural forces that shaped its creation and the audiences that embraced it. Minstrel shows were more than just entertainment. They were a form of cultural storytelling that reinforced racial hierarchies. By caricaturing African Americans and presenting exaggerated depictions of their culture, minstrel shows normalized harmful stereotypes. They provided white audiences with a distorted lens through which to view black identity, perpetuating ideas of racial superiority and inferiority. The success of Jingle Bells within this context speaks volumes about its original purpose. While today we view it as a cheerful holiday song, its early performances were likely steeped in the racial dynamics of blackface entertainment. The humor, the vernacular, and even the musical composition were designed to fit into a genre that thrived on mocking and trivializing African American culture. As minstrel shows gained popularity, songs like Jingle Bells became part of the cultural lexicon, further embedding these stereotypes into the American consciousness. It's important to recognize that Jingle Bells was not created in a vacuum. It was a product of its time, a time when entertainment was deeply intertwined with racial exploitation. This context doesn't diminish the song's modern-day significance as a Christmas classic, but it does complicate our understanding of its history. Jingle Bells is more than just a cheerful tune. It's a window into a darker chapter of American culture, one that shaped the song's creation and early performances. Ask anyone where Jingle Bells was written, and you'll likely hear two answers: Medford, Massachusetts, or Savannah, Georgia. The debate over the song's geographic origins has persisted for decades, with each city claiming to be the birthplace of James Lord Pierpont's iconic tune. But as historian Kina Hamill argues, this fixation on location has distracted from a more important question: the cultural context in which the song was first performed. Let's start with Medford, Massachusetts. The snowy imagery and lively sleigh ride described in the song seemed tailor-made for New England winters. Medford was a hub for sleighing enthusiasts in the mid-19th century, and its residents proudly claim that Pierpont drew inspiration from their local sleighing culture. Historical markers in the town even commemorate the connection, suggesting that Pierpont composed the song while living there with his father, Reverend John Pierpont, who served as the pastor of the Unitarian Church in town. Supporters of the Medford origin story often point to the song's vivid descriptions of winter activities, dashing through the snow, the jingling of bells, and the thrill of racing a sleigh. These details align perfectly with the picturesque New England winters that Pierpont would have experienced during his time in Medford. On the other hand, Savannah, Georgia, tells a different story. After leaving Massachusetts, Pierpont relocated to Savannah to work with his brother, John Pierpont Jr., who was the minister at a Unitarian church there. Some historians argue that Jingle Bells was composed during this period as a reflection of Pierpont's longing for the snowy winters of his childhood. Savannah's claim is bolstered by historical records showing that Pierpont published the one-horse open sleigh in 1857 while living in Georgia. Advocates for this theory believe that the song was a nostalgic ode to the New England winters Pierpont had left behind, rather than a reflection of his current surroundings. While the Medford versus Savannah debate makes for an interesting historical discussion, Hamill suggests that it has overshadowed a more critical aspect of Jingle Bells, its minstrel origins. The geographic focus shifts attention away from the song's performance history and its ties to blackface entertainment. Regardless of where Pierpont composed the song, its first public performance took place in Boston at Ordway Hall, a venue known for hosting minstrel shows. This performance context is key to understanding Jingle Bells as a product of its time, a time when blackface minstrelsy dominated American entertainment. Hamill argues that the obsession with determining the song's geographic birthplace has allowed its minstrel connections to fade into obscurity. By framing Jingle Bells as a quaint New England sleighing tune, we ignore the cultural forces that shaped its creation and early performances. This isn't to say that the Medford and Savannah stories are irrelevant. They provide valuable insights into Pierpont's life and the inspirations behind his work. But they shouldn't eclipse the song's broader historical significance. The playful and seemingly innocent lyrics of Jingle Bells hide a complex and layered history. While the song is often viewed as a cheerful ode to winter sleigh rides, its lyrics, when examined closely, reveal connections to the minstrel tradition and the cultural dynamics of 19th century America. Let's begin with the imagery. The opening lines, dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, paint a vivid picture of a winter adventure. The song describes the thrill of racing through snowy landscapes, the jingling sound of bells, and the carefree joy of youthful mischief. These themes are universal and timeless, contributing to the song's lasting appeal. However, as historian Kina Hamill points out, the tone and content of the lyrics align closely with the conventions of minstrel music. Songs performed in minstrel shows often featured light-hearted, humorous narratives designed to entertain audiences. Mischievous antics, flirtations, and exaggerated scenarios were common tropes, and Jingle Bells fits neatly within this framework. Take, for example, the second verse. "A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank, and then we got upsot." This verse tells a humorous story of an attempted sleigh ride that quickly goes wrong. The narrator tries to impress Miss Fanny Bright, a romantic interest, only for the sleigh to tip over into a snowbank. The use of the word upsot, a playful twist on upset, reflects the minstrel tradition's use of exaggerated vernacular to create humor. Such linguistic quirks were common in minstrel music, where songs often mimicked the speech patterns of African Americans in a stereotypical and exaggerated way. While Jingle Bells doesn't directly reference race, its use of humorous language and light-hearted mischief ties it to the minstrel genre's conventions. The final verse continues the theme of youthful antics. Now the ground is white. Go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing this sleighing song. Just get a bob-tailed bay, 240 for his speed, hitch him to an open sleigh, and crack, you'll take the lead. This verse reflects the minstrel tradition's focus on youthful exuberance and romantic escapades. The suggestion to take the girls tonight and race a speedy sleigh captures the sense of carefree fun that defined many minstrel songs. However, it also highlights the song's performative nature, as these themes were meant to entertain white audiences rather than reflect the lived experiences of African Americans. The emphasis on mischief and flirtation mirrors other minstrel compositions of the time, which often featured characters engaging in humorous, exaggerated scenarios. These narratives were designed to evoke laughter and reinforce stereotypes, using humor as a tool to entertain while subtly perpetuating societal norms. What makes Jingle Bells particularly significant is how seamlessly it fits into this tradition. While the song lacks overt racial references, its structure, language, and themes align with the minstrel genre's conventions. This connection underscores the cultural context in which the song was created and performed, a context shaped by the popularity of blackface entertainment and the exploitation of African American culture. The lyrics of Jingle Bells also reflect the commercial pressures faced by composers like James Lord Pierpont. Writing for minstrel shows required an ability to craft catchy, accessible songs that resonated with audiences. Pierpont's use of vivid imagery, playful language, and universal themes of winter fun ensured the song's success, even as it carried traces of its minstrel roots. Today, it's easy to overlook these elements when singing Jingle Bells as a festive holiday tune. The song's transformation into a Christmas classic has obscured its origins, allowing its minstrel connections to fade from public memory. However, by examining the lyrics and their historical context, we gain a deeper understanding of how Jingle Bells reflects the cultural and racial dynamics of its time. To understand the full context of Jingle Bells, it's crucial to examine the minstrel tradition that shaped its origins and first performances. Minstrel shows were the dominant form of popular entertainment in the United States during the 19th century, drawing large audiences with their combination of music, comedy, and theatrical performance. However, these shows were deeply rooted in racial exploitation, with white performers donning blackface to caricature African Americans. The minstrel stage was a product of its time, reflecting and reinforcing the racial hierarchies of 19th century America. Through exaggerated dialects, stereotypical behaviors, and comedic skits, minstrel performers created a distorted portrayal of African American life. These performances were not mere entertainment. They were a tool for dehumanizing black people and cementing harmful stereotypes in the minds of white audiences. Minstrel shows first emerged in the 1830s and gained widespread popularity in the decades that followed. By the time Jingle Bells was composed in the 1850s, the genre had become a cultural phenomenon. Blackface performances were featured in theaters across the country, attracting audiences with their lively music, humor, and elaborate stage productions. Music played a central role in minstrel shows, with songs often serving as a bridge between comedic skits and dance numbers. These songs frequently incorporated elements of African American musical traditions, such as call and response patterns and syncopated rhythms. However, these elements were often exaggerated or altered to fit the minstrel aesthetic, stripping them of their authenticity and context. Composers like James Lord Pierpont found success by creating music tailored to this genre. Songs that were catchy, humorous, and easy to sing were in high demand, and minstrel shows provided a lucrative platform for composers to showcase their work. While Pierpont's Jingle Bells lacks overt references to race, its structure, themes, and performance history tie it firmly to the minstrel tradition. The themes of Jingle Bells, youthful mischief, flirtation, and humor, align closely with the content of minstrel shows. These performances often depicted characters engaging in exaggerated comedic scenarios designed to entertain white audiences. The song's playful language, including the use of upsot, reflects the minstrel tradition's use of vernacular to evoke laughter. Even the imagery of sleigh rides and winter fun can be seen as part of the minstrel aesthetic. While these themes appear lighthearted and universal, they were often presented in a way that exaggerated the differences between rural and urban life, or between white audiences and the otherness they imagined. Minstrel shows thrived on creating a sense of novelty and amusement through cultural contrasts, and Jingle Bells fit neatly into this framework. The first documented performance of Jingle Bells at Ordway Hall in Boston further cements its connection to minstrelsy. Ordway Hall was a venue known for hosting blackface minstrel troupes, including the Iolians, to whom Pierpont dedicated the song. This performance context highlights how deeply entwined the song was with the minstrel tradition, even as its modern associations have obscured this history. The minstrel stage was more than a form of entertainment. It was a cultural force that shaped how white Americans viewed race. By presenting distorted portrayals of African Americans as lazy, foolish, or overly jovial, minstrel shows dehumanized black people and reinforced the societal hierarchies of the time. Songs like Jingle Bells were part of this broader framework, contributing to a tradition that relied on racial caricature and exploitation. Over time, the minstrel origins of songs like Jingle Bells have been forgotten or deliberately erased. As minstrelsy fell out of favor and society sought to distance itself from overtly racist entertainment, songs from the genre were rebranded and repurposed. In the case of Jingle Bells, its association with Christmas and winter festivities allowed it to escape its minstrel context and take on a new life as a holiday standard. This process of sanitization reflects a broader trend in how history is remembered and presented. By focusing on the song's cheerful melody and festive themes, we ignore the cultural and racial dynamics that shaped its creation. This selective memory allows us to enjoy Jingle Bells without grappling with the uncomfortable truths of its past, but it also prevents us from fully understanding the song's historical significance. Acknowledging the minstrel origins of Jingle Bells isn't about taking away its modern meaning or enjoyment. Instead, it's about recognizing the complexities of cultural history and the ways in which traditions evolve over time. By confronting the song's connections to blackface entertainment, we gain a deeper understanding of how racial dynamics have shaped American culture and continue to influence it today. Jingle Bells is more than just a festive tune. It's a window into a specific cultural moment, one that reflects both the creativity and the prejudices of its time. Understanding this history challenges us to think critically about the legacies we inherit and the traditions we celebrate. The cheerful melody of Jingle Bells is so closely tied to the holiday season that it's difficult to imagine it as anything but a Christmas classic. Yet its transformation from a minstrel stage song into a sanitized anthem of winter joy is a case study in how cultural artifacts are rebranded, repurposed, and stripped of their original context. This process of sanitization doesn't erase the song's history. It obscures it, leaving us with an incomplete understanding of its origins and legacy. When Jingle Bells was first published in 1857 under the title The One-Horse Open Sleigh, it wasn't associated with Christmas at all. Its lyrics celebrated wintertime fun, and its lively tune made it a popular choice for festive gatherings. The song's appeal lay in its simplicity and universality. Anyone who had experienced the thrill of a sleigh ride could relate to its themes. Over time, as Christmas evolved into a major cultural and commercial event, Jingle Bells found a new home within the holiday season. Its imagery of snow, bells, and merriment aligned perfectly with the growing emphasis on winter-themed celebrations. By the early 20th century, the song had been absorbed into the Christmas repertoire, appearing in caroling books, radio broadcasts, and early recordings. The shift in Jingle Bells' identity was gradual and largely organic. Its inclusion in Christmas celebrations wasn't a deliberate attempt to obscure its minstrel origins, but rather a reflection of how cultural traditions evolve over time. As the song became more closely tied to Christmas, its original context as a minstrel performance was forgotten, replaced by a new narrative of holiday cheer. The process of sanitization isn't unique to Jingle Bells. Many songs, traditions, and cultural artifacts have undergone similar transformations, shedding uncomfortable or controversial aspects of their history to fit modern sensibilities. In the case of Jingle Bells, this meant erasing its ties to blackface minstrelsy and rebranding it as a wholesome holiday tune. This erasure was facilitated by the passage of time and changes in societal attitudes. As blackface entertainment fell out of favor in the early 20th century, songs that had originated in minstrel shows were either forgotten or reinterpreted. Jingle Bells survived because its themes were broad and adaptable, allowing it to transition seamlessly into a new cultural context. However, this transition came at a cost. By stripping away the song's minstrel roots, we lose the opportunity to fully understand its history and the cultural forces that shaped it. The story of Jingle Bells is not just a story of holiday cheer. It's a reflection of the racial dynamics and entertainment practices of 19th century America. The sanitization of Jingle Bells is part of a larger pattern in how societies deal with uncomfortable histories. Rather than confronting the complexities of cultural artifacts, we often reframe them to fit contemporary values, ignoring the aspects that don't align with our ideals. This selective memory allows us to enjoy traditions without grappling with their origins, but it also limits our understanding of history. When we erase the minstrel context of Jingle Bells, we miss the opportunity to examine how racial exploitation shaped American entertainment and how those dynamics continue to influence culture today. Sanitization also raises questions about responsibility and accountability. By rebranding songs like Jingle Bells, do we absolve ourselves of the need to confront the prejudices of the past? Or does acknowledging these histories deepen our appreciation of the progress we've made and the work that still needs to be done? Understanding the minstrel origins of Jingle Bells isn't about taking away its modern meaning or enjoyment. It's about adding depth and context to a song that has become a cornerstone of holiday traditions. By recognizing the cultural and racial dynamics that shaped its creation, we can approach Jingle Bells with a more nuanced perspective. This history also challenges us to think critically about the legacies we inherit and the traditions we celebrate. What other songs, customs, or cultural artifacts have similar hidden histories? How can we honor the positive aspects of these traditions while acknowledging their complexities? Jingle Bells is more than just a festive tune. It's a window into a specific cultural moment, one that reflects both the creativity and the prejudices of its time. Today, Jingle Bells occupies a unique place in American culture. It's a symbol of holiday joy, but it's also a product of a darker chapter in entertainment history. These two legacies coexist, shaping how we understand the song and its place in our traditions. For many, the song's connection to Christmas outweighs its minstrel origins. Its cheerful melody and timeless themes make it a source of joy for millions, and its history as a blackface minstrel song may seem distant and irrelevant. But for others, understanding this history adds a new layer of meaning to the song, highlighting the complexities of cultural heritage and the ways in which traditions evolve over time. Ultimately, Jingle Bells challenges us to think critically about the stories we tell and the histories we preserve. By acknowledging both its minstrel roots and its modern identity, we can gain a fuller understanding of the song and its significance.
If you enjoy our content, we'd love your support. By joining one of our channel memberships, you help us continue creating videos like this one while gaining access to some amazing perks. As a member, you'll unlock exclusive content available only to supporters, earn loyalty badges to show off in comments and live chats, and enjoy priority responses to your comments, shoutouts, and more. The best part? Memberships start at just $2.99 a month, less than a cup of coffee. Even small contributions make a big difference for the PJ Bible TV team in covering production costs and delivering the content you love. And if you're not ready to become a channel member today but still want to support us, there are other ways to help. Engaging with our videos is a tremendous way to show your support. By taking just a few moments to like the video, share it with friends, family, or on social media, and leave a comment, you're telling the YouTube algorithm to share our content with more people. Your support, no matter how you choose to show it, means the world to us. Thank you for being part of the PJ Bible TV community.